So, Chris, you've been through a lot, haven't you? Yeah, you could say that. How have you coped with dealing with really adversity in your life? I mean, do we have time for a story like that? Yeah, I think that we have plenty of time for that. In fact, we have as much time as you need. By all means, tell me all about it. Well, we can start whenever I was in, I don't know, 8th grade. 8th grade? Yeah, so, I mean, we've talked about it before, I'm sure. That I used to disassociate, and that was always just kind of a given with any of my coping strategies. But whenever I was in 8th grade, because of the dissociation, I would, uh, I would use rubber bands all throughout my arms and my legs, during class, at home, at youth group meetings, wherever. And I would do that to force myself to stay present. I see. Yeah, and as a result of me doing that, and as a result of a lot of other things, the relationship that I was in at the time, I was in a relationship with a freshman. Her name is Mallory. Wonderful person. One of the people I regret losing the most in my life. Period. She was so distraught from me doing this that she ended up actually leaving me. And I'm not trying to blame her at all because me doing it in front of her was a horrible thing. But yeah, that was what I used to do back in the day. I actually still have pictures on my computer of my arm covered in just welts and bruises, all from doing it. I had taken that picture just as a reminder to not go back doing it again. So yeah, I actually still have one of the original like hairband things that I would use to do that to myself. So that sits in a memory box now. Oh. Yeah, so after 8th grade, and after I decided during that summer that I wasn't going to do that anymore because I wanted to be better, it kind of just went back to dissociation, and that's where we kind of get a lot of the memory gaps. See, I actually have an okay amount of memory from 8th grade because I wouldn't let myself zone out because I was so tired of not being present for anything anymore. But then freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year, the way that I would cope with a lot of family issues, being forced to have to see people I just hated, being in environments that I didn't feel like I fit in to when it came to my schooling, 'cause I felt like an imposter there. Being abandoned by so many people, often because I self-sabotaged all of these relationships. My only real coping mechanism at the time was just zoning out. And it got easier whenever I started working, and I've talked before about how, being a workaholic actually did, I mean, it was bad, but it did help me a lot with coping with things. And that's kind of what I used up until recently, whenever I realized that forming real connections and having real hobbies and keeping myself engaged and active and, forcing myself to go out and do things, that's what really is like the healthy way of dealing with stuff. But I resorted to a lot of worse coping mechanisms back when I was a kid because I didn't know any better. Nobody could relate or offer me any advice, and people that could, I didn't want in my life anyway. So, yeah. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, thank you for having me.